All right, guys, welcome again to another wonderful time. I'm still thinking on where Albert is. He might be somewhere. So I'm all alone today, but I hope he'll be able to catch up in good time. He mentioned that he's going out to see someone. I don't know who that is, but anyway, Albo, just where you are, just know that you should be here today. So my name is Maxi, and I just want to share with you this short conversation. It's a word that has been brooding in my heart, you know, like how a mother hen sits on the eggs, and in a few weeks they begin to hatch. Life comes out of that which had no life. And so sitting on this word this week, it's very prophetic. It's also a word that I would like to share with my fellow youth leaders and church leaders on the situation of the church, the current times. And so for our conversation, I would like to welcome your consideration around this thought: the church has left the building. The church has left the building. And as the deer panteth for water, so my heart longs for you, forever and ever, yes. This heart beats for you. And as the deer panteth for water, so my heart longs for you, Jesus, forever and ever, yes. This heart beats for you. And as the deer panteth for water, so my heart longs for you, Jesus, forever and ever, yes. This heart beats for you. It was about noon, and Jesus, as tired as he was, he sat at the well. And this well, in the book of John, chapter 4, we are told that it belonged to Jacob. It's called the Jacob's well. He had dispersed his disciples to go to another town to get some food. And so Jesus is tired, and he sits at the well. He left Judea all the way to Samaria, and on his way he decides to sit on this well. And the action of him sitting on this well allowed him to have the conversation with the Samaritan woman who comes alongside that place to get a drink. It was a common well, a catchment place where people will go to fetch some water. It is the heart of this story that we find our conversation today, because the first thing that I want you to notice is that Jesus left the synagogue, the church building, because Judea was the centerpiece of the synagogue. He leaves Judea and takes a journey to Samaria. So the first thought that I want you to see from this story in John chapter 4 is that Jesus left Judea, the synagogue, the building, and went to Samaria. The second point is that Jesus decides to sit at a strategic place. He did not decide to sit at a random field, or at a random, he didn't attend a random party. He was very strategic. He sat down at a catchment place, a common place, which is called a well, because that was the place where he would be able to tap into the life of the Samaritan woman. These times that we are getting into, in the post-COVID times, the church that will not focus on these two things will have empty pews. The first thing is that the church must be willing to intentionally leave what we have traditionally called the building. That we are no longer focused on the physical projects. That we are no longer focused on the monuments and the strategic conversations of building the church physically. We must leave Judea, the synagogue place, and take the journey to Samaria. So this church that will survive the post-COVID times is the church that will shift from building to being a relationship-centered church. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we must be like Jesus. And the second point is really the heart of this nugget today. We must be like Jesus, who sits down at the well. What is the well? I'm glad you asked. A well was the catchment place where people would flood to get water. It was a public space. So when Jesus sits at the well, he realizes that the way by which I can connect with those who have departed from this faith is by sitting strategically at the place where they find their life. So therefore, that means that if we are going to seek out for those people who are lost, if we are actually going to go out and bring back the harvest into the church, we must go to places where life is happening. There are the 7 mountains of society, the 7 mountains of influence. God is setting people up to send some of them to the media, because the media is a catchment place. How is your church positioning itself to tap into the vastness of the media? Technology is a well, it is a portal by which we can be able to tap into the life spaces of the people we're reaching out to. Business and enterprise, the context of family, the 7 mountains of society. The last weapon of revival is the church that is willing to leave the building to step into the public spaces where life is really happening. Because truly, the church has left the building. Those that we seek are not willing to come back. And so the cards must change from us having nice programs, Sunday programming, to actually integration. My suggestion in this conversation is position your life from being a programmer to being a facilitator of relationships. Move from focusing on the internal accoutrements of the church as we know it to having an outward thinking to tap into the vastness of the people we reach. And so, Jesus leaves Judea and goes to Samaria, and he decides to sit on the well, because it is at the well where he would have a chance to tap into the life of the Samaritan woman. The Samaritan woman is not willing to go to the synagogue, and so the teacher has to leave the synagogue to sit at the well to tap into the life of the Samaritan, because honestly, the church has left the building. I hope that these words will bring life to your life this week, and just a thought on how we can continue to position ourselves in the days to come. May the Lord bless you and thank you.